Welcome to NGS. Oh, here, let me clean this off real quick. Welcome to NGS, where we dive into my hobbies, such as playing cards, or summoning the dead with the Neconomican. That's right, this is a Fontaine deck. I'm sure you've heard of Fontaine before. I have their Gaff deck for the denim edition of their Fontaine cards. This one here is specifically made for the Army of Darkness movie. I'm sure you've heard of it. Evil Dead, Ash Williams, Groovy. He has a chainsaw for a hand. Uses the boomstick. Come on. But yeah, this is the deck by Fontaine. Let's go ahead and just dive right into this. Yeah, so the Tut case is meant to resemble the Necronomicon, the book that brings people back from the dead and does a lot of other things that we haven't really branched out from. Summons the Deadites, which are like the zombies of the Evil Dead universe, and Ash Williams has to kill them all off. So you have the sides here that are designed to look like, the pages of the book, the front of the book, the spine of the book, and then the back is showing us what the playing cards look like, with the Fontaine F, and these veins. It's either veins for the eyeball, or it's like the roots and branches of the trees that, did that thing to that girl. I'm not too sure, but let's talk about my favorite part of this deck right here. It opens from the side, kind of like the little deck of horrors. I rarely see Tut cases that open from the side like this one, so I was happily surprised to see this. But I will say, it is a little difficult to open. Yeah. And there are the pages of the Necronomicon. Don't read these out loud. 10 out of 10, don't recommend. Unless you're Bruce Campbell. Then you have plot armor. MGM, I hope you know what MGM is. Distributed by Fontaine, LA, California. But look at that artwork. Army of Darkness. And here is the deck. You can see through this little half window. The inside is red, which, speaking of red, this has a lot of it. Now this deck looks awesome when it's spread. Look at that. So as we saw on the Tut case, it is these veiny red things with the Fontaine Fs. And you can see the air cushions. Beautiful. Nice and smooth, let me tell you. Alright, let's look at the faces. Yeah. It is a red deck. Pretty cool. And this red is eye-catching. It's like glowing. Alright, so what I presume is the Joker cards is Fontaine cards written in the same font, and it has the rated R restricted label down here, and the other one has Ash's chainsaw going through it, so you can do a color change with that. That's pretty cool. Then we have a screenshot from the graveyard from the movie, and we have another screenshot from Castle Kandar. These could also be the Jokers. I'm not too sure. You get 4 Jokers. I'm not going to go through all of these in depth, but these are scenes from the movie. So there's Ash Williams, the protagonist. And here are the indices. That's the font. Very blocky and looks Times New Roman-y. With these custom looking pips that are way sharper and thinner towards the top than a normal standard spade. There's a jack. And the cards tell you what they are. Winged Deadite, Sheila. Yeah, you get the point. But they're screenshots. Here's the diamond, a little bit of a concave. And the clubs look like they were stretched. Like someone grabbed that in and just pulled. Same thing with the heart, very pointy. And yeah, that's the face cards here. What's not to love about this deck, man? I know Fontaine does a lot of IPs. I've seen they had a Nickelodeon mystery set I might eventually get. But I'm beginning to become a big fan of Fontaine. There is an issue though with their, I guess, their printing and production, but I don't think that's the fault of Fontaine. Probably the fault of the third party, you know, OEM of the decks. But I do hear a lot on the interwebs about Fontaine centering and issues, and I have a deck that I will show later down the road, and I will point that out more in depth on that video. Anyway, that is the Army of Darkness deck by Fontaine. Thanks for watching. Don't go reading any books you find randomly that have human skin on the cover. And if you do, always keep a boomstick handy. I will leave a link to these cards down below. I think they're still available on the Fontaine site. You'll have to check. But anyways, this deck is groovy, and I cannot wait to see you right or back in the next video.
You're dealing with the ghost. We are spitting facts, so don't mistake it with the boast. Looking for a lethal injection, we got the dose. We are giving the chills from your head down to your toes. You're trying to touch us, but you're dealing with the ghost.